today's the day. It's a kind of a sad day. I'm putting my car away for the winter. Looks like a nice day here today. Sure, sun shining, and it's like 10 degrees. I guess that's like 50 degrees or something like that here in the afternoon. So it is nice, but the mornings are, I came out yesterday morning to take the car to work. It was covered in ice. And so we're at the time of year. This is the end of October. And where I live, we're just on the cusp of bad weather, things like that. So I'm putting the car away for the winter. And mostly just to save it from the weather. We use a lot of salt around here. There's a lot of ice, that kind of thing. And that'll just destroy that car in no time. Unbelievably, it's still intact after 57 years, and I think that's because it was either saved before or it's had some work done, obviously. But regardless, I want to preserve this car. I really enjoy driving it, and so I'm going to put it away for the winter. And I've got a couple of unique ways of doing that. Maybe not unique, but a little bit different. So in back of me here, this area here used to be a barn. It was an old barn we had here in the I think it was like probably 200 years old. Last year we had to tear it down. It was actually collapsing. So that's the area I've got there, where eventually I'm going to have a garage, probably like a pole barn style. I'd like to have 3 bays, that kind of thing. But at the moment, I don't have a garage per se. Well, I kind of do. Here, I'll show you. I have that. I built that 9 years ago. Theoretically, I could fit my car in it. Unfortunately, it's full of other stuff. I've got lots of, your lawnmowers and equipment and all my tools and all that kind of stuff. So I could probably get the car in there, but nothing else. So I'm not going to do that. I've got a different plan. There's a few things I need to do to the car before I put it away for the winter, or that I want to do to the car before I put it away for the winter. It's got antifreeze in it, I think. It looks kind of green. I have no idea how old it is. I have no idea how good it is. Last thing I want is for this thing to freeze up, when it's like -20, -30 over the winter, and pop the frost plugs and crack the block or anything else. So I am going to put in some fresh antifreeze. I'm also going to change the oil. And it might seem odd, but I'm going to change it before I put it away, because the oil that's in it's been there all spring and summer. Contaminants and all that kind of stuff builds up. It would be time to change it anyway, and I would want to change it in the spring anyway. This way, if I change it now, all that stuff isn't sitting in the car for months, and it just has fresh oil in it. At the same time, I'm going to put a little Marvel mystery oil. It's not a mystery what's in it, contrary to what people say. It's really mineral oil and a few other things. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the mystery oil in it and run it and let that kind of clean out the engine, and then drain that, and then I'm going to put fresh pure oil in it for before I go to put it away. A couple other things I'm going to do just to prepare it before I put it where I need to go. Another tip I saw, which is a really good idea: put more air in your tires. So I don't know how much air I can put in the tires. I'll have to look on the side of the tire and figure that out. But put the maximum amount of air in the tires before I park it for the winter. Reason being, it'll avoid flat spots in the spring, because it's going to sit there for a few months. So I'll do that. And then I've got this unique way of packing this thing away that hopefully will keep, critters, rodents, moisture, all that kind of stuff out of it. Anyway, I'll get to that in a bit, but first of all, let's prepare the car. So I guess the first thing is to drain this. It's not hot. Haven't been driving it. There's a drain thing here. God only knows if it's gonna. Nope, I'm gonna need a pair of pliers. Turns out it might be just easier to take off the lower radiator hose than I think it's called a petcock, the drain thing. It's pretty, well, it might be original. It's pretty old and not. Yeah, this is a much easier method. Ah! Let me just put that anywhere. Oh, I think I'm getting most of it in the bucket. To be honest with you, it actually looks all right. It's green, it's not dirty, nothing else, but like I said, I don't know how old it is. I don't know if it could have been changed, I don't know, not that long ago. We'll see. But regardless, she's out of there now. And I made a bit of a mess. Oh well. I'll just put that hose right back on. That was much simpler. This hose is not that old, I don't think. And I don't know if I drained every drop of it, but that's okay. I'm not trying to flush this or anything. Like I said, it's not, I've never had any overheating problems with this car. It's never leaked anything. I was never having issues like that. And what came out of it actually looks pretty good. It's just like I say, I don't know how old it is. Getting the bucket under there was actually not very easy because it doesn't quite fit. And I don't have it up on ramps or anything. So I just kind of lift up on the car and slide it out. Yeah, for the cost of an antifreeze tester, one that actually works. The cheap ones I've heard are all over the place. They're not very accurate. It costs about as much to buy antifreeze. So that's what I'm doing. So here's what I got. Nothing weird or special. It's just all vehicles, Prestone. And I don't think you should get anything, you know, specific or fancy or weird for these cars because that's not what they ever had. But there's something. Maybe you guys, if you want to comment on why this is, but this was like $24. It's concentrate. You add water to it. So you mix it with, like, I'll put this in and I put in water to fill up the rest of it. You can buy the pre-mix stuff, the 50/50 mix stuff. It's like $2 cheaper. So you'd have to buy twice as much. Why would you do that? Unless you don't have good water available, maybe? I'm not sure. Anyway, I'm just going this way. This was the cheapest way of doing it. Okay, now I'm just going to get some water. Next thing I'm going to do, Marvel Mystery Oil. Again, it's not a mystery. It's mineral oil and some solvent and things like that. It's not it's not some grand mystery. I haven't added oil to this car for months. And it's down about half a quart, so I'm not going to overfill it. I'm going to put this in before I start and run the car to work out the antifreeze. And That way it'll give it a chance to warm up. Run this through the engine, clean out some of the sludge and whatnot. And while it's burping out the radiator here. So, I don't know that I need a whole bottle of it. And quite honestly, the oil doesn't look horrible anyway. Might actually put the rest in the gas tank. Just some in there. Yeah. I'm going to put the rest of that in the gas tank. So while it's running, it'll work itself through into the fuel system. And then I also have some of this fuel stabilizer. The gas I run in this car it's around here. You got to check in your own area, but around here, our supreme gas is 91 octane, no ethanol. It's all I ever run in this. And any small engine, no ethanol. So theoretically, it should stay good for a while. I've had that stuff in my lawnmowers, and I did nothing. And in the spring, they should be okay. But it doesn't hurt to put a little bit of this in, just in case, so we have less issues in the spring. So I'm going to do that, and then we'll get it running. Okay, it's all warmed up. Seems to have burped out all of the air it's going to for now. I'm going to call that good. Now that I've had the Marvel in it running for a bit and warmed it all up and cleaned out everything, the oil's still hot. I got my fresh antifreeze in. Now I'm going to change the oil. You guys have seen oil changes probably a million times by now. I don't need to be giving you a whole video on how to change the oil. The only thing to note in this car is that you don't even have to get underneath of it. I can get to it from here. As long as I can get that little pin where it needs to go. Here. And I'll just change the oil and we'll continue on. Little tip if I've not said it before, I use Wix filters, not the Wix XP. The Wix filters themselves actually are actually better at filtering, and the Wix XP just lasts longer. That's the difference. And but I buy them. You can buy a multi-pack, and they're remarkably cheap if you do that. So you can buy a 12-pack. I think it worked out to like $8 a piece or something, which is the price of a real cheap bargain brand filter, except that these are actual genuine Wix good ones. So if you plan on doing, more than a few oil changes on the particular vehicle, it's worth buying the multi-pack. And I didn't get it on Amazon. Where did I get it? Hearts Avatar, I think is where I bought it. And Amazon wasn't a good deal. But if you look around, you can find those multi-pack for these Wix filters. It's a good deal, and probably the best filter you can get. These are a lifesaver. You measure out your oil beforehand, and no funnel needed. You get the right stuff. In case you're wondering, I'm using Rotella T4. It's 1540 diesel because it's got more zinc and stuff in it. It's an old school oil. And I know if you're watching any of the other car channels lately, they say, oh, don't use diesel, or now they all used to use this. Now they've all gone to Valvoline VR1. Valvoline VR1 is probably a nice oil, but you should know that all of those things are sponsored. So anytime you see product placement like that, I'm obviously not sponsored by Shell for Rotella here. It was just, I could get a pail of it pretty cheap. So if I crack this, it'll go faster, won't it? Oh yeah, that's better. Yeah, I'm obviously not sponsored by these guys, but an old engine like this, 1540 is about right, and probably. And like I said, it's the old school with more diesel and stuff. It's a diesel, or more zinc, sorry. Zinc for because of flat tappet cams and etc. You don't want to use that modern, you'd never use synthetic oil in one of these old cars. The cork gaskets and things like that in there do not like synthetic oil. Apparently synthetic can weep out through the through those gaskets, where this stuff does not. So just old conventional, oh shit. Conventional oil. But yeah, so you'll notice all the car channels using Valvoline VR1, probably good oil. It's kind of pricey, but they are being sponsored. And one in particular, the big channel that everybody watches, I noticed that he's even got their badge up on his screen as he places the product, so it faces the camera, and he talks about it. So I don't know what they're paying him. Probably pretty good. I mean, this is what, 3 million viewers now. You guys know who I'm talking about. But yeah, that's the reason he's using Valvoline VR1 is because he's sponsored. Nothing wrong with the Valvoline VR1 probably. I'm not an expert, but that wasn't smart. I'll spill the oil all over it. Yeah, I'm not an expert. It's probably great oil, but that's why he's promoting it. That's why he doesn't use this stuff anymore. At least not on camera. Okay, so next thing I'm going to do is put air in the tires. So like I said, this will avoid flat spots from parking it for a few months. And I'm looking for, every tire has like a max load, max pressure 44 psi. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put 44 psi in the tires. Welcome to the garage. So eventually there'll actually be a real garage here, but for the next few months, I got these boards. Sometimes the lumberyard has them on sale for like $2 a piece. They're like offcuts, or I don't know, something wrong with them. They're pressure treated, 2x10, I think. And so I wanted to park the car up on board so it didn't sink in the mud by spring, because this is, as you can see, kind of muddy. But there's a couple things I got to do first, and there's a special way I'm going to actually store them on these boards that I'll show you. It involves a car cover, but not like maybe what you're thinking. Before I get to actually putting the car away like I'm going to, we're going to do some mouse abatement. So I'm going to give credit to my wife for this. So she made up these little mesh bags, and it's Irish Spring soap cut up into little pieces. So I'm going to strategically place them in the car, in the trunk, in the different places. Apparently this keeps mice away. I don't know. Same can be said for bounce sheets. I've heard you throw bounce sheets in, they don't like it, it keeps them away. Okay, so we'll see how that goes. So put these things, a couple in the trunk, a couple in the car, engine compartment, and hopefully there's no mice. Another thing we're going to do is, put on this, it's called damp rid. You put it in your campers and stuff when you put them away, and it keeps moisture and mold and mildew out. I don't think it's going to get moisture and mold, but you know, better safe than sorry. I'd rather not open it up in the spring and be full of mold and moisture and whatnot. So for what these cost, it's just a bucket with some stuff that absorbs water. So I'm going to put this in the cabin of the car. Now, secret weapon. I bought a car cover, just, you know, your regular, it's supposed to resist hail and things like that. A pretty good quality one to put over the car. I think it straps underneath the car. And then later on, I didn't even know this existed. I found this. This is another car cover, but you drive in it and zip it up like a sleeping bag. So the whole thing is encased. It's pretty thin, so I might end up using both. This wasn't very expensive. I'll link it in the description in case you're interested. But we'll see how it goes. We're going to find out together how this works. Apparently you just unfold the thing on the ground. I'm obviously going to have to move the car, but I want to unfold it over here so I can see what I'm getting into. And if for some reason this is a complete pile of crap and it isn't going to work, then I've got a backup plan, which is my original plan of the other car cover, which should be a decent quality one. This is pretty thin, so my idea here was it would keep, you know, when the wind blows snow and stuff underneath the car, and moisture and hopefully critters and everything else. This will kind of protect the whole car, but we'll see. So this is basically what it looks like when I've got it over the boards I had there, and it's got these bright orange marks, I think, where you're supposed to drive in the center of, and then this part, I might have done this backwards, but I'm not sure. It's probably fine. I'm gonna have to drive over this. But it is fairly thin, but it does feel like fairly substantial material at the same time, if that makes any sense. I think it was just over $100 for that kind of money. That's not bad. And considering what storage costs, and you know, storing something not on your property, even if I get 1 year out of that, I'm still ahead of the game. So let's see. A little too far. How's that? I think I got to come back a little further. Maybe there. Yeah, that's probably about as good as I'm going to get it. Yeah, I'd say that's about as close as I'm going to get it. Car sure smells nice with all the Irish Spring and bounce sheets and stuff. So before I zip this up, though, I want to put a couple things in the engine and stuff too, and maybe a little bit of Irish Spring down in the bag. So get that done. We'll see how this zips up. Yep. The antenna isn't something I never thought about. I want to break it. I need that. Can you take these off? Yeah, maybe I should take off the antenna. That'd be a good idea. Yeah, so here's a dip. Take your antenna off. Just put that right in the car. So I think the secret is to actually do a little bit side by side. You can see I got it off center a little bit, but that's okay. There. So it's all encased in the bag, like a sleeping bag. It's better quality than I thought it was going to be honest with you, for all I paid for that thing. It's a couple of layers thick, and the reflective stuff is probably helpful. I'm kind of glad to have the reflective thing here because I plow snow here. And hopefully it'll keep out a lot of, moisture, like snow and everything blowing underneath the car. Hoping it'll keep out critters, and I'm hoping, the Irish Spring and stuff will keep them away too. There's nothing going to stop them from chewing a hole here. If they really wanted to get in there, but hopefully they don't. I don't know. At least slow them down, maybe. That's why I wanted the damp rid thing in there too, because I didn't want to seal in a lot of moisture. Now, I'm doing this on, well, it's clouding over now, but it's been dry for the last couple of days. And if you're going to do something like this, put your car away in some kind of a cover like this, you want to make sure it's dry. Like, you're not doing this on a damp day or it just rained, or like you're not sealing in a bunch of water, because that'd just be rust and mold and everything else. So it's been dry. This is why I wanted to do it today too, because I think I got a week of rain and showers and cold weather and possibly some ice and below freezing coming up next week. So this is kind of the right way to, the time to do it would be now. Anyway, I've got another cover, but I might leave that for a different day. At least I've got this on. It's sealed up. It should be good. The other cover, I haven't really looked at it. I believe it's got straps that go underneath. I'm hoping I don't have that cover too tight that I can't put those straps there, but I guess we'll see. So that's going to do it for this video. I do have that other heavy-duty cover, like I said. I'm not going to bother with that today. I've still got time to put that on later. It was important to get this one in when it was dry. Let me know what you think. I'd never heard of this putting a car in a bag thing, or this zip-up car cover before, but I think it's a great idea. Just like I said, I get a lot of, there's wind and things like that. I don't have big hailstorms up here like you might have in some of the southern states, so that's less of a concern. It should be okay. I mean, we do get some pretty good storms, so I think if I get the other cover on there, it'll be, double protected or extra protected. But I like this concept of zipping it up in a bag like that. Well, that is the garage. for for better or for worse, this is the garage at this moment. Someday I'll have a garage, hopefully. But for now, that's what I got. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it.